And now from McAllen City Hall, a meeting of the McAllen City Commission.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's City Commission meeting. We'll begin with a Pledge of Allegiance, followed by an invocation by Commissioner Sebi Haddad.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We bow your heads. Dear Father, first, thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here today. I pray for this commission meeting tonight and for you to give us the wisdom and guidance as we deliberate on the important matters affecting our great city. May each decision be righteous in your sight, for our benefit and for your glory. We thank you for the health and body and mind of our city manager as he celebrates another year on earth. And we ask you that you bless his family. Amen.
Amen. Okay, we have a couple of presentations, but again, as our commissioner said, we have a very special birthday today. Our city manager, we're not going to say how old, But we do wish him a happy birthday, Roy. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And the commission- Then we have presentations, Boy Scout troops. Who do we have?
Matthew here, there he goes. Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners, for this opportunity. Tonight, we're going to be doing two presentations here with the Parks and Recreation Department. The first one we're doing tonight is this young gentleman here to my left, Matthew Bella, who is going out for his Eagle Scout. So let's give him a round of applause for that. So one of the things that Matthew has to do is a community event project, and so he reached out to the Parks and Rec department to see if he could do a project with us, and so we did. We approved his topic, and his topic was
The birds and the bats.
the birds and the bats, which was helping us out at the McAllen Nature Center build a bird blind for bird watchers who come by through the Nature Center. Along with that, they did a couple of upgrade improvement projects to some of the benches and picnic tables out there. And then his troop, Troop 76, also helped provide some bat boxes that we're going to be installing out there for the bats to have a habitat to where they can thrive in there at the McAllen Nature Center. So on behalf of the McAllen Parks and Recreation Department, Matthew, we want to thank you and Troop 76 for the hard work you've done, and good luck on your project. Okay, yeah, if you guys want to head over on that. Okay. Okay, in the second presentation, I would like to bring up our TAF athletes here tonight. TAF, y'all in the house, come on up. Y'all can come on both sides of the stage.
They just got back from Paris.
So these kids you hear see me behind me tonight represented the city of McAllen in our TAF program, which is the Texas Amateur Athletic Federation, which we host year-round throughout the season. Kids can come out to participate in golf, swim, track, and aquatics. So these kids, throughout the hard year, put their work in, and it accumulates down to the summer where we actually have the state games. And so back in 2016, 2017, the city of McAllen was lucky enough to host the Games of Texas here in McAllen. And this past 2 years, Brownsville hosted the games. And so, as you can see, these kids here got some hardware on. And it leads right up to the next presentation or proclamation, because you never know. You know, these kids put in their hard work, they do their time, and they can be that next great Olympian from the city of McAllen. So, just, I just want to give a round of applause to all these athletes and coaches here today. So overall, the city of McAllen, we took 228 athletes to Brownsville who qualified at the regionals, which we hosted here in McAllen, 2 state games in Brownsville, bringing back 8 gold medals, 9 silver medals, and 14 bronze medals. So congratulations, guys. Wow. And do we have Rebecca here? Is Rebecca? She's at practice. Okay, so we're just going to mention this one thing, that Rebecca Espinoza on July 20th to the 21st in San Diego. So when you qualify here for TAF, you guys, these guys get invited to the state games, right? And so the state games is accumulation of 30 other states hosting their Summer Olympic Games and competing. So when you get gold medals here, you get invited to the state games. And we had Rebecca Espinoza, who went to San Diego on July 20 and 21st and was a national champion in the 11 and 12 girls for first in the 3,000 3K and first in the 1,500 meters. So congratulations to Rebecca. So in 4 more years, we have the games. Summer Olympics is going to be held in Los Angeles. So just right around the corner, guys. So practice up. Thank you.
Next, we have a proclamation, Shane Casas Day, Commissioner Cabeza de Vaca.
Good afternoon. What a great day in the city of McAllen. I'm very honored and privileged to present this proclamation to the mother and to a gentleman that is so inspired to a lot of us. And he is such an inspiration to my little kid, to my little 7-year-old Pepito. I was telling him about Shane and his dream and how you work hard for the things that you want. And everything started with goals and with dreams. And you have to work very hard. So he started getting that kind of thing. He started looking up to him. We were up at 4 o'clock in the morning, watching that qualifier, and we were so ecstatic. And he was like clapping and very, very happy about it. And that's the kind of example that Shane brings, and that's the kind of example that you gave to Shane. So, proclamation, State of Texas, County of Hidalgo, City of McAllen. Whereas the City of McAllen takes great pride in recognizing its outstanding citizens who have demonstrated exceptional talent, dedication, and achievement. And whereas Shane Casas, a native of McAllen, Texas, has distinguished himself as an exemplary athlete, qualifying to represent the United States of America in the 200 individual medley at the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. And whereas, very proud of him. Whereas Shane Casas' dedication to his sports, perseverance, and commitment to excellence serves as inspiration to all residents of McAllen, especially the youth, showcasing the heights that can be achieved through hard work and determination. And whereas the accomplishment of Shane Casas brings honor and recognition to our community, enhancing the reputation of McAllen on both a national and international stage. And whereas it is fitting and proper that the City of McAllen recognize and celebrate the achievements of Shane Casas, acknowledging the pride and joy that he brings to our loved City of McAllen. Now, therefore, I, Pepe Cabeza de Vaca, City Commissioner of the City of McAllen, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested in me and on behalf of the Mayor and the City Commission, do hereby proclaim August 12, 2024, as Shane Casas Day. Congratulations.
I wasn't expecting to say anything, but like I've said before, I wanted to thank everybody for the tremendous support that we got as a family. There was a lot going on behind the scenes that made it even more poignant. My parents were not able to go, and it had always been their dream to be there, but they were very excited to watch, like everybody else, at 4 o'clock in the morning, and yeah, so they made it a point to wake up. And like I've said, they're leaving already, but Shane started in Taft, and he went from there. He went to nationals as a little kid, and you know, his dream always was to make it to the Olympics, and it was a lot of hard work, but with the support of Mom and grandparents, and obviously at this point the whole community, it's meant more to us than you could ever imagine. And Shane's not a real emotional guy, but when we had that parade on the 4th and I FaceTimed him and showed him, he was very touched, and he wanted me to express how grateful he is. So I wanted to say thank you.
And next we have public hearings.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Tonight, all 5 of our public hearing items are listed as routine. As always, they come with a favorable recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission and had no opposition. They can be approved in one motion or discussed separately as desired. They are rezoning from C3 to C4 at 105 Dicker Road, a rezone from C4 to I1 at 1001 North Jackson Road, a conditional use permit for 1 year for a smoke shop at 1500 North 23rd. That's Suite 140 and 150. A conditional use permit for 1 year for a bar at 2209 West Dove Avenue. And a conditional use permit for 1 year for another smoke shop at 4815 North 10th Street, Suite 100.
Thank you. Do we have anybody speak against any of these items?
I'd make a motion to approve items
Second.
1 through 5.
There being a first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All against? This motion carries. Item B, I need a motion to amend the zoning ordinance of the city of McAllen.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. We have a consent agenda items A through K. Through, actually L. Do we need to pull anything out?
Motion to approve it to.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item 3A.
3A, Mayor and Commissioners, is award of contract for the top-ranked, non-exclusive terminal advertising concessionaire at the McAllen International Airport.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. Staff recommends approval of a non-exclusive terminal advertising concession agreement with Lamar, Texas Airport Advertising Company. The contract term is a base term of 8 years with a 5-year renewal option. Percentage gross of sales is 47% and includes an escalating minimum annual guarantee that starts at $150,000 per year and escalates to $160,000. And the vendor is looking at $220,000 of total capital investment for advertising improvements here in the terminal.
Any questions? If not, do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item B.
B is
Thank you.
award of contract for the improvements at Capra Park.
Mayor and Commission, this item was presented at workshop. The project involves the construction of a comprehensive outdoor recreational facility, encompasses various infrastructure amenities, activities, security measures, and finishing touches. We've listed those in your packet. Andrew Hefner, McAllen Parks and Rec, the engineering department and staff recommend award to the responsible bidder, EB Merit Construction of FAR, Texas, for the total amount of $1,861,709.03 to be completed in 180 calendar days, and we'll make a budget reclass to fund the shortfall on this, and we open it up for any questions.
Any questions or comments?
That's what was reviewed at workshop, right?
Yes, sir.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item C.
C is award of contract for the McAllen Hidalgo International Bridge Building C restrooms.
Got it, one? Okay, go for one.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Commissioners. Happy birthday, Roy.
Thank you.
Well, this project was, it's a project that we have 3 buildings at the port of entry. It's Building A, Building B, Building C. This is a building where the import lot was. We're doing an expansion of restrooms out there. The project will consist of, the work will be done at night. Contractors will have air-conditioned restrooms for the agents. And it's much needed restrooms out there. So we took bids and the lowest bidder came in at $318,745.38. Item was presented to the Bridge Board and approved by them earlier today. Staff recommends approval.
Questions, comments?
Motion to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item D.
D is award of contract for El Collado Subdivision Drainage Improvements Project.
Mayor and Commission, the purpose of this project is to reduce localized flooding in the Collardo subdivision, 2500 block of Savannah. The scope of work includes expanding the existing downstream channels that serve the subdivision storm sewer outfall. Activities include excavation and grading of approximately 830 8,300 cubic yards of earth, reconstruction of concrete riprap, and removal and replacement of concrete pipe. Staff recommends award of the contract to the lowest responsible bidder, Titan Construction of Mission, Texas, in the amount of $214,582.17 with a contract time not to exceed 90 days, and we open it up for any questions.
Questions?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item E.
E is award of contract for professional engineering service for the Los Encinos Park turf field improvements.
So this is one of 3 existing softball fields that will be retrofitted to accommodate 100 by 180-foot artificial turf sports field. Elements include the new field, its subsurface drainage system, site fencing, and related concrete flatwork. The field dimensions are similar to that of the turf field most recently installed at Las Palmas Community Center. The negotiated fee is $24,763.95, which equates to 8.3%. Staff recommends award of professional engineering services contract to KCI Technologies of Mission, Texas, in the total amount of $24,763.95, and we open it up for any questions.
Is this the same material as Las Palmas?
It should be similar. There are other products, as long as the engineer specifies more or less the same, but we think it'll be the same.
It's like a 10-year product, and after that we have to do some maintenance on it, or?
I'd have to defer to Denny on the maintenance, but
Okay.
I believe that's, if I recall correctly, it's something to that effect.
Okay.
And it's just to add a mix of amenities. Is this on top of a kind of baseball field, or what is that?
So if you look in your packet at Los Encino Park, there's 2 softball fields that kind of are back to back.
Yes.
They're planning on putting this soccer field on one of those fields, changing the field out.
Okay. So it's not utilized for competitions as much? Are we?
I'd have to defer those questions.
No, sir. Since the build of the MYBC complex and the new McAllen softball complex, those fields are mostly for rental. And so we found it beneficial to convert one of those fields, since we do have a big group of community that uses the soccer fields on that south end.
Yeah. Sounds good.
And this is just the engineering part of the field, right?
Yes, sir. Just the design part of it.
This is the design.
Yes, sir.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item F.
F is consideration and approval of change order number 1 for the purchase and installation of additional furniture for finance and budget.
So this item's a change order. We're requesting to buy some more furniture to complete the finance and budget remodel. The change order is in the amount of $14,974.74. Staff recommends award to Gateway in that amount for a revised contract amount of $143,812.23, and we open it up for any questions.
Any questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item J.
G is consideration and approval of an interlocal agreement with Palm Valley Animal Society for the operation of a regional animal shelter.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioner, City Manager. We're requesting your approval to accept the interlocal governmental cooperative agreement with Palm Valley Animal Society for the operation of a regional animal shelter in the amount of $79,166 per month for qualifying animals brought to the shelter for the intake of up to 2,500 animals for the year, totaling $950,000. The monthly limit should not exceed 1/12 of the annual limit, or the overage fee will apply. The city agrees to limit the intake of dogs over 20 pounds to 5 per day. Animal overages will be charged at a rate of $380 per animal. This agreement shall be in effect for 2 years, from October 1st, 2024 through September 30, 2026. There will be no cost for any deceased animals taken to the facility. We hope to fund preventative measures in the future years, such as veterinary services and spay and neuter clinics.
So I assume we didn't have the same limit of 5 per day previous to this contract?
It's because they're limited in space.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that we had to discuss this year. Albeit there are cases and days when we exceed 5. And in those, right now with the current contract, we end up doubling animals into kennels. That's how we work that out.
Yeah.
But we have really reduced the number of animals as we've increased the educational aspect with the community. There was some resistance, but people are now beginning to understand the severity of the problem that we have with stray animals.
Mm-hmm.
And we are looking at long-term solutions for this animal problem. So we're working together with the county and surrounding cities to try to, have an adequate facility in the very near future. So
We're trying to anyway, so hopefully the rest of the communities think it's an important subject like we do, because we try to do whatever we can. I think education is very important. Unfortunately, some people don't care. Honestly, some people don't care, and we have a lot of complaints all the time, and we honestly do try to do as much as we can. We spend a lot of money on this issue, but we need the assistance of the public, of the people, not really just McAllen, but the surrounding areas, because we're all together now. So it may be an animal that's not even from McAllen, but it's around here. So that's why we hope that the rest of the communities join us and do what's necessary to take care of this issue.
Absolutely.
Motion to approve.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item H.
H is consideration and approval of an interlocal agreement with Hidalgo County Precincts 1 through 4 regarding Quinta Mazatlan. My staff left me. So,
And on his birthday.
well, yeah, what you've got is 4 individual interlocal agreements with each precinct. They have all committed to joining us for the Quinta Mazatlan project. 2 of them are one figure and the other 2 are another. And the primary reason for that is that, their budgets are different. 2 of those precincts have a lot more roads to maintain, and therefore they're not able to do what precincts 2 and 4 are doing. And so we recommend approval. We're very thankful of the partnership with the county and look forward to this continued partnership at Quinta Mazatlan.
Thank them for their partnership. I have a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item I.
I is consideration and approval to negotiate a contract with top-ranked 911 EMS service provider.
Mayor, Commission, a request for proposal for emergency medical services was published on June 5th, 2024. To maintain the current level and quality of service provided, there were 2 companies that provided responsive bids. The ranking results are as follows: Lone Star EMS and City Ambulance on the amounts that you can see there on your memo. Staff recommends approval to negotiate services with the highest ranked provider, Lone Star EMS, which will result in a significant cost savings to the services. I'm available for any questions.
Cost saving is very important, but how are they doing as far as the service? Are we okay?
As far as service, we've been maintaining, we've been able to continue to cover our city. And so right now, based on that was part of what the RFP provided. And, we have some responsive bids, to maintain that same level. And, that's a request to, for you to allow us to go and negotiate with the highest ranked company.
And they're exceeding 90% of the milestones required by contract.
That is correct.
Let's approve.
Is there a
Get a
second?
second from Commissioner Castillo.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item 4.
4A is providing for a budget amendment in the Sanitation Depreciation Fund for the purchase of 2 brush department vehicles.
Mayor, City Commission, City Manager. Public Works recommends approval of a budget amendment to the Sanitation Depreciation Fund in the amount of $315,000 for the purchase of 2 brush trucks. Originally budgeted in 2021 and 2022, we actually budgeted 4. We only received 2, and so we received the other 2 this November, this fiscal year, so therefore requiring us to have this budget amendment.
Questions?
Motion to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item B, 4B.
B is approval of substantial amendment to fiscal year 22-23 annual action plan for CDBG program.
Good evening. The item before you is a proposed amendment to the fiscal year 22-23 annual action plan for CDBG. This would be moving funds from the Balboa Acres Water Line Replacement Phase 2A into the Balboa Acres Water Line Replacement 2B. Just as a side note, that this budget and program amendment has undertaken in accordance with the Citizen Participation Plan. A public hearing was soliciting for comments was held on August the 1st with a 30-day comment period. Staff is recommending approval of this program and budget amendment. I'm happy to entertain any questions.
Questions? Now, do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item 4C.
Thank you.
4C is providing for an abandonment of a 15-foot utility easement being 0.85 of an acre out of lot 247 at 1300 North Taylor
Do I
Road.
have a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion.
And second. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Motion carries.
5A is request for a street name change from South 42nd Street to Newhouse Circle within the private Newhouse subdivision.
Okay, would that cause any confusion with
911?
postmaster, 911, any of that stuff?
If it does get approved, sir, we send out letters to all the utility companies, all EMS services, so that they are aware of the change.
Does it affect us in any way?
No, sir.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item 6A.
6A is consideration of a variance request to North Bicentennial right-of-way dedication at 8501 North Main Street.
Sirs, Barton subdivision is a proposed single-family home development with 3 lots located on the southeast corner of Bicentennial Northgate. The project engineer submitted a variance to dedicate 50 feet of right-of-way from center line instead of the previously approved 60 feet requirement by commission on June 10th. The basis for the request is that the variance will allow for a greater developable area and fence lines along Bicentennial will match. The development team reviewed the request. Engineering is requesting 60 feet from center line for a future right turn lane and bike trail along Bicentennial. There are 3 options before you. Staff is recommending option 2, which is requiring the 60 feet of right of way, and we do have the developer here to speak.
Okay. Questions? We need what do we have?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon, City Commission. My name is Michael Garza. My address is 6521 North 10th Street. Want to thank you for this opportunity to be before you and to tell you the reasons why we want this variance and for rehearing it. Some procedural history. On May 21st, 2004, Planning and Zoning approved a 50-foot variance. Subsequently, however, on June 10, 2024, I, not having personal knowledge that this was before the City Commission, y'all voted for a 60-foot variance on a 4-2 vote. I believe there wasn't enough discussion to hash this out and to have our side heard. So thank you again for allowing us this opportunity. Some reasons for requesting this is future use. Future use on a phase 2 is going to basically probably be some townhomes, maybe some lots. We're going to have to put in a street, we're going to have to put in a sidewalk, a wall, and a huge cul-de-sac so that the fire department can go in and out safely. And as it stands at 50 feet, it'd be a 9,000 square foot that we're giving over for the right-of-way. That extra 10 feet would be 18,000 square feet. And it would severely impair our proposed phase 2 that we have in contemplation. And as for expansion, there's currently no real plans for expansion. There's nothing listed on TxDOT. There's nothing listed on the RMA, the Regional Mobility Authority. And as it stands, that intersection already has a 60-foot from center line. It's already there. And frankly, the turning down that street, Northgate Lane, it's a very underdeveloped street. I mean, it has open drains, culverts. It's not highly trafficked at all. And I don't think it's going to be in the foreseeable future. We're talking expansions maybe 50 years away for Bicentennial, being that it's a new road. And also, just right across the street at the same intersection on just west of us crossing Bicentennial, the city commission already has previously approved a 50-foot variance for that intersection. And we're just asking to be treated fairly and the same as our neighbors. That's what we're here for. Any questions?
So there were another ones that were allowed the 50 feet?
Yes, just right across the street, same intersection,
west
just
side.
west.
Okay.
They're on the east.
Right, okay.
When was that?
This was the second meeting of January of this year, sir.
And why was that one allowed?
Well, the idea here is that obviously we need a right turn lane, which is why on the east side of Bicentennial is why we're requesting those 60 feet.
And that was going to be my comment on because of the possible necessity of the right turn lane going north to the right. Okay. A widening of that for the right turn lane, 10 feet, 12 feet type scenario, right? 10 feet. Okay. We already have 50 feet, right? Okay.
Well, we have 60 right.
You have 60, you're wanting 60, but 50 foot was what is the engineers are looking at to do, right? So if in that, because it's a unique, and this is a very unique area, okay, that little North Gate little bottle there, if you call it a little bottle there, you're not going to be able to put only a street there, right? You're only going to be able to put a street to go to the subdivision.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So, what size of a length of a right turn lane do you think that would be appropriate with the speed of Bicentennial?
That I'll defer to engineering because.
Okay, and that's why I'm getting that possibly we could get that length to be possibly 60 feet, but the rest of it being 50. If it engineerily works.
So on a right turn bay, you can work the numbers a little bit, and what we did there is like a minimal, the minimal we need because what they're doing there is the slowing down will happen on the main lane. So it looks more or less about 80 for the stacking length and about 150 for the transition. So if you add those two numbers, that would be about the minimum we could go for to accommodate a right turn bay.
How much?
80 and 150 is
230.
230.
Well, that's a long length. How long is that? Is the length that is on Bicentennial for the whole project?
The whole length of your.
What's the length of it?
It's about 1,000 feet from
1,000 feet?
Yeah, from Northgate to where what borders Bicentennial.
So if you would take from North Gate, okay, around 200 feet, 220 feet, 240 feet, whatever, would it still work for your subdivision? If you would take those, I guess what would you need? The 60? Is that what you want? But not on all the other 700 or the other 750 feet?
Yeah, that's correct. And I guess what worries us in the future is if we're going to put a street on that bottle that you're talking about, we're losing 10 feet, right? So how near are we going to be in the future with that future street that we're going to be installing, right? We're not going to meet the minimum intersection lengths, right?
The other piece of it, from Northgate here goes all the way till what, 2nd Street, maybe?
Yes.
Yes.
Would it cross 10?
It crosses 10.
And then it goes to 2nd.
And
Now,
see this.
At what point would a right-hand turn lane just to get to 2nd be that big of a necessity? I guess, right?
That was my.
This is what I would say about development is with us punching Bicentennial through, it's coming sooner than later.
Can you talk a little louder? I'm sorry.
Sorry about that. What I could say is development's coming sooner than later. As soon as we punch Bicentennial through, we just started seeing subdivisions go through, and that's why we try to work a compromise on this. The right of way was 150. We look to take the 120 on this one because we could see the value of the right turn lane and then extension of our Bicentennial hike and bike trail to get those amenities fit in there. And that's the reason we made that request for the 60.
But Northgate isn't necessarily undeveloped, right? I mean, it's got, for the most part, there's a couple, I think, more larger tracks.
Yeah,
Be
they're
developed
like-
into large scale.
They're like 5 acre
Yes,
tracks.
you know, big tracks, but few lots. And then the rest of it is really developed with single-family homes on very large lots. So it's not a significant amount of undeveloped tracks that are just gonna spur into large-scale family developments, right?
Correct.
Yeah, you're probably right on that. That
But you're
area-
more concerned about through traffic than local.
Yeah, I mean, we see the growth going in the area, and that's just part of, you know, you're taking the engineering hat and putting a planning hat when we look at that for transportation, trying to protect right away and what we can see coming up in the future.
And the 230 feet is both the transition and the stacking. So how much of that 230 is the stacking?
About 150. No, sorry, 80 is the stacking.
80 is the stacking. So you're only talking about 3 cars.
Yeah, we don't stack a lot. It's more to just get that traffic off to the side. I mean, if you look at all the right turn bays that we've designed, we don't overtake too much right away. We try to minimize that. It's really just to get that traffic off the side and keep traffic flowing.
And does it have a sidewalk on that side of the road?
When they develop, they would have to put a 5-foot sidewalk. We'd have to talk about the extension of the hike and bike trail. It looks like an amenity that we would extend. But of course, that's something we would put before commission if we're extending that north of where it currently ends.
Can I add something, Commissioner?
Sure.
Let's say the city does install the right turn lane. We would be encouraging traffic into Northgate, right? And I don't know if that's something, Northgate is not prepared to see an increase of traffic. Also, if we are considering bicycle lanes or anything like that, a shared use path, there's no designation of bicentennial on any of the TxDOT or the RGV MPO to use federal funds for that. So it's not something that's happening in the future, as far as we can tell.
We did use federal funds for bicentennial.
Yeah, so I would just say Bicentennial is a local road, so it doesn't show up on there unless we put it on there. We've typically sometimes we've locally funded the hike and bike, sometimes we federally funded that.
But
hike
we
and bike.
used
That's just
state
the
and
reason
federal
why.
money for bicentennial.
We did.
We did, on off-system, category 7 for that.
You know, P&Z's initial approval of the 50 feet and the return of the applicant, I'd make a motion to approve the variance as approved.
So being a first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Against?
1.
Motion carries.
6B is consideration of variance request for an agreement in lieu of escrow for North 56th Street. That's at 9400 North Sherry Road.
Pioneer Estates is a proposed 30-lot fourplex development along the east side of North Sherry, approximately 50 feet south of Mile 6. Developers submitted a variance request to have an agreement with the city in lieu of escrowing their share of North 56th, which is located on the east side of their subdivision. P&Z reviewed the request at their July 29th meeting and unanimously recommended approval of the agreement. There are 3 options before you. Staff is recommending option 1, which is approval.
Questions?
I'm fine. So moved.
Do I hear a second? Yes, sir.
Let me read real quick.
Yeah, this is basically, an agreement that would allow the developer to pay at the time that the extension happens.
Yeah, I would second that.
Yes.
I think you had a question?
No, yeah, second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Next item.
C is consideration of a variance request to minimum street jog offset for Taylor Valley Estates at 1300 North Taylor.
Taylor Valley Estates is a 40-lot single-family home development on the east side of North Taylor, approximately 300 feet south of Pecan. The engineer submitted a variance to the minimum 125-foot street jog requirement, Based on the submitted layout, Taylor Valley's interior street would only be 117 feet from Brock Street, located up on the north. That street is within a private subdivision. So P&Z reviewed the variance at its July 29th meeting and unanimously recommended approval. Three options before you. Staff recommends option one, which is approval of the variance.
Questions?
Second.
All in favor? Against? Motion carries. Item 7.
7A is the Immigration and Respite Center report.
Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, numbers have remained basically the same over the course of the last 6 weeks. We're right about 100 per week. I'm sorry, 100 per day, about 700 per week that are coming in. They're all being handled by Catholic Charities in their facilities. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Future agenda items? Nothing? We'll
Nothing.
move on to item number 8, table items. We're going to remove off the table.
Yeah, we're ready to proceed, Mayor. We recommend removal from the table.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
And the item is consideration and possible approval of an ordinance establishing limits on the number of domesticated animals per household.
Good evening, Mayor, City Commission. We took the comments at the last workshop and worked them into the ordinance. The main changes that you'll see are we increased the cap from 4 to 8, made an exemption for fosters that are fostered through a nonprofit, as well as providing for an exception for the fosters, and then also kind of clarified what the inspections would entail. And again, nobody would have to apply for this unless they wanted to keep animals in excess of the 8. And so,
So profits are just nonprofits?
right, a nonprofit animal organization or like an animal rescue. So PBAS, but also we have a lot of the others in the community, Yaki and Cinderella, there's all those other pet rescues.
So somebody like me that wants to help out and I say I want 5, 6, 7, 8 that I can really take care of, I wouldn't be able to do it unless I'm a nonprofit? Fosters, I mean?
No, sorry.
You
No,
have to apply.
that doesn't apply to the nonprofits, that's only. This is, you can adopt the permit. You wouldn't need a permit if you're adopting from those.
Oh, okay.
If you're fostering for them.
Okay.
So what's the process on, not the application, but the in-home inspection? What's going to happen there?
Right, Commissioner. So what they can do, anybody who wants to have animals in excess of the permit would apply for that inspection. The inspection, an officer from the Animal Care Services would go out and look for the criteria are laid out in the ordinance on page 2. And so what they're looking for is size, space, vaccinations, water, food, and then also the sanitary conditions to make sure there's not flies or anything that would be disturbing a neighbor of reasonable sensibilities, no damage to other animals. Basically just making sure that there's a healthy, safe environment for everybody involved.
Okay.
And the number changed from our original proposal.
Yes, sir.
2A.
Which I think is good. You register ones with a larger number of animals, and in the future that could always be amended, but it's probably a good, healthy starting point to allow the staff to keep up.
And if they have the capabilities, the size, the place for it, and everything, it'll be approved. No problem.
So let's say somebody today has 10. We're going to give them a amount of time to be able to apply for the permit.
That's correct, Commissioner.
Okay. What's the grace period? Do you have a?
Our recommendation would be, it's not in the ordinance, our recommendation is usually 6 months when we're doing a new ordinance like this to allow people to apply for the permits and to allow staff adequate time to conduct the inspections.
And the permits will be able to be online.
Yes, sir. I'm sure we can work to get those online.
That'd be ideal.
And at no cost.
That's correct. Right now, the ordinance, what it does is that there's no cost. It just allows at some point for a fee to be set should we need to recover administrative costs. But the plan is to have no cost at the initial outset.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Executive session.
Mayor, I recommend no action on the items discussed in executive session.
Okay, there being nothing, no further actions, nothing else? This meeting is adjourned.
Regular City Commission meetings are held on the second and fourth Monday of each month. Meetings are rebroadcast on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays on the McAllen Cable Network.
you.